Hello there, succulent friends. Annie from Mountain Crest Gardens here. And today I've got a plant for you that's really pretty in pink and she loves the sun. It's the Graptocedum alpenglow. Now, this plant is really fun to grow and very easy to propagate. So by the end, we're gonna get to know this plant a little better and you're gonna be able to grow your own beautiful alpenglow. This plant goes by a number of different common names. The one we use, Graptocedum alpenglow, refers to this pink color of the plant, but you'll also hear some people call it Graptocedum bronze because it gets a nice bronze sheen to it when it's in direct sun. The third name you might hear is Vera Higgins, and that references this British botanist who created all these succulent illustrations. And we know that this plant is a cultivar, a cultivated variety, but there's some question as to which plants were crossed to create this hybrid. But likely it was the very popular ghost plant, or Graptopetalum paraguayense, crossed with Acetum stolii. I generally refer to this growth habit as kind of a stemmed rosette, and that's just because when this plant is young, it does form this really tidy, short rosette. But as it gets older, it naturally grows a fairly long stem, usually about to 6 inches long, and so it can start to bend and spill nicely out of a container. Alpenglow is a plant that shows a lot of color changes in response to the amount of light it's getting. So what you'll tend to see in the summer when it's getting a lot of sun, it'll show these rosy pink colors. And then with the lower light of winter, it'll deepen to a lot of minty greens and some of this lavender hue that's going on here. And either way, it's really good at bringing just a pop of color and some contrast to a lot of succulent arrangements which have a lot of blue-green tones to them. Alpenglow's got a really elegant shape to its leaves. And as far as succulents go, I'd say that it's a moderately chunky leaf. And that's really important because it's full of water-storing tissue. So it's those leaves that are helping this plant survive through extended periods of drought. Graptocedums bloom in spring when they're being well taken care of, and they do this by sending up these tall, branching bloom stalks, and they get covered in these little yellow flowers that are star-shaped, and it creates a really impressive effect. A big component of caring for your alpenglow is just getting it in the right lighting. So this plant can tolerate full to partial sun, but really, the more light you give it, the better the colors you're gonna get out of it. So if you were to grow this indoors, I would put it on my sunniest windowsill or under a dedicated grow light. Like a lot of succulents, alpenglow here likes really great drainage. So for soil, I would either go for a cactus and succulent mix from a local garden center or something like Bonsai Jack's gritty mix. And this one you can find on our website. The other thing to note, when you're picking out pots, go for something with a hole in the bottom. That's gonna do you wonders preventing any potential watering issues, and it's also gonna help prevent rot. As I said before, this plant is really good at surviving through long periods of drought. But the flip side of that is, it doesn't really like to be watered too frequently, and it really doesn't like regular spraying or misting. So what you actually want to do is go ahead and drench it thoroughly. I like to soak mine so that water's coming out the drainage hole in the bottom, but then I'm gonna leave it and I won't water again until the soil is completely dry all the way down to the bottom of the pot, and the leaves are just starting to show signs of wrinkling or limpness, that they're thirsty. And additionally, you'll find that you can get away with less frequent watering in the winter than you would in the summer. This is a soft or tender succulent, which just means that it can't tolerate a hard frost. But I do really like to keep mine outdoors when the weather's mild. You've just got to be sure to bring it back inside when nighttime temperatures get down to around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Pests can be a potential problem whenever you bring any plant indoors to grow. But fortunately, there's a couple easy ways to prevent them. So first of all, you're gonna want good airflow. Next, that great drainage we talked about. And third, only water infrequently. But if despite all that, you still get a bug or two, the good news is all of them can be treated in basically the same way. So I'm a big fan of the isopropyl alcohol method, where you're gonna spray 70% isopropyl alcohol on the entire plant, get into all the nooks and crannies, and I'm gonna keep doing that every day until I see no more evidence of bugs. One of my favorite things about alpenglow here is just how easy it is to reroot, either from a mature leaf or from a whole stem cutting. So this is a variety that I recommend a lot to beginners who are looking to try their hand at some succulent propagation. And we have a whole video and a blog on succulent cuttings if you want any information at all on that process. Graptocedum alpenglow is just a really fun plant to grow, and it provides these phenomenal pink colors. So you can find your own at mountaincrestgardens.com, and if you too are a fan of all things succulents, I invite you to subscribe and click the bell so that you get notified when we release new videos. And until next time, happy succulenting!